Have you ever wondered what makes Tom Brady different? Was it discipline, genetics, or something no coach could ever teach? How does a man play longer, stronger, and colder than anyone else in the game's history? I thought I knew until the summer of 2021 when he walked onto my field. That night, I learned greatness isn't given, it's taken. My mom always said football was the reason we'd make it out. She never had much, but she gave me everything she could. 2 jobs, 1 at the diner, 1 cleaning offices, just so I could have the freedom to play. She'd come home past midnight, exhausted, hair pulled back with a scarf, her hands raw from bleach and grease. And still, before bed, she'd slide $50 across the counter for me. Cleats, protein, gas to practice, I don't care. Just make it count, she'd say. So I did. I lived on the field. Every rep, every throw, every late night lifting in the garage, it was all for her. By the summer of 2022, senior year was coming. Coaches were circling, calls trickling in, and it finally felt like maybe I'd done enough. Then Tom Brady walked onto my practice field. It was a blistering July afternoon. The heat shimmered across the turf, the air thick with cut grass and sweat. One moment, practice was normal. Routes, whistles, laughter. The next, silence dropped. Heads turned. There he was, Tom Brady, the man whose career had stretched across decades, whose name was carved into the game itself. He walked like the field belonged to him. A leather duffel hanging from his shoulder, sunglasses reflecting the sun. My coach straightened up like he was meeting a general. And then Brady pointed at me. "You, come here." My teammates shoved me forward, slapping my back, whispering, "He picked you." I walked up, heart pounding, and shook his hand. His grip wasn't crushing, but it was steady, deliberate. His eyes held mine, scanning me, searching. "You've got the build," he said. "The arm, the will. I see myself in you." I couldn't find words. I just nodded. He leaned closer, voice lower, as if sharing a secret. "We'll talk more." Tonight, before I could respond, he walked off, exchanged a few words with Coach, and left just as suddenly as he'd arrived. That night, my mom called me into the kitchen, her eyes bright with an energy I hadn't seen in years. "We're having company," she said, adjusting the tablecloth. "Tom Brady's coming." I thought she was joking. She wasn't. When Brady stepped through our front door, the tiny apartment seemed smaller. He filled the space just by standing in it. My mom beamed like it was the proudest moment of her life, fussing over dinner plates and pouring sweet tea into mismatched glasses. "You don't know what this means," she said, smiling across the table. "I've worked hard for this boy. For him to even be noticed by someone like you, God is good." Brady smiled politely, folding his hands on the table. "He's special," he said simply. I felt heat crawl up my neck. My mom leaned in, eager. "Why do you take such a liking to my son? You must meet so many kids." Brady looked at me, then back at her. "Because I see something in him. Something that can't be taught." My mom's eyes welled up, pride written across her tired face. Later, after the plates were cleared, I found myself asking the question burning in my chest. "So what about you? Next season, what are you after?" Brady's expression shifted. He leaned back, gaze distant, voice quieter. "I'm trying to find something I lost. I want another Super Bowl. But before I can win, I have to find it. And I think I've found it with you." His eyes locked onto mine, unwavering. "Through coaching, through preparation, I want to help you." The room felt suddenly heavy. My mom, still smiling, didn't hear the undertone in his words. But I did. Something about the way he said "found it with you" chilled me. He patted my shoulder, firm and reassuring. We'll start tomorrow. You'll see what it takes. And in that moment, under the flicker of our kitchen light, I realized Tom Brady wasn't asking. He was deciding. The next night, I didn't want to go. Every part of me told me to stay home, tell my mom I was tired, shut my phone off, and sleep. But when the lights of the stadium flickered on by themselves, bright against the summer dark, I knew he was already there. And he was waiting. Brady stood at midfield in workout gear, calm as if it were game day. He had a ball tucked under one arm, another at his feet, and another a few yards away. Dozens, maybe, scattered across the field. "Throw," he said, pointing to the sideline. I jogged over, picked one up, and came back to the hash mark. He stood 10 yards away, hands out, no receiver, no defense, just him. "Throw!" I planted, cocked back, and released. The spiral cut clean through the air, smacking into his hands like it was meant for him. Again, he tossed the ball back. I threw again, and again. The rhythm set in fast. Drop back, throw, catch, return. Brady's voice was steady, sharp, cutting through the night like the whistle of a drill sergeant. At first, it felt like practice. Then my arm began to burn. The muscles in my shoulders screamed. But every time I hesitated, Brady snapped, "Again." I wanted to tell him I needed a break, but the way he stared at me like refusal wasn't an option, froze the words in my throat. The throws piled up, 50, 60, maybe more. My breath grew ragged, my legs wobbled, sweat drenched my shirt, stinging my eyes. I missed a throw, the ball slipping wide. Brady didn't move. He let it hit the turf, then stepped closer. "You don't stop because you're tired," he said flatly. "You stop when I say." He bent, picked up another ball, and shoved it into my chest. Again. My fingers cramped around the laces. I dropped back, the motion sloppy, my body screaming. But when the ball left my hand, it spiraled perfectly, landing in his grip like it was drawn to him. I froze. That hadn't been me. My mechanics were broken. My arm was shot. But the pass was flawless. Brady's expression didn't change. He only said, "Again." I kept throwing. My vision blurred, my chest heaved, but the ball never wobbled. Perfect spirals every time, like the game itself was controlling my arm. Finally, I collapsed to one knee, gasping. My shoulder burned so hot I thought it might tear. Brady walked up slowly, the ball still in his hand. He crouched until we were eye level. His face was calm, but his eyes locked into mine, unblinking. "You think greatness is talent?" he said softly. "It's not. It's preparation, obsession. You bleed for it until there's nothing left. Then you bleed again." He leaned closer, his voice sharper, louder, echoing unnaturally in the empty stadium. "You practice until your body quits, and then you keep practicing. You want to know the difference between you and me? I don't quit. I can't quit. That's why I'm still here." His breath was hot on my face. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. It was like the field itself pressed his words into my skull. "If you won't give everything," he said, his tone dropping to a near growl, "someone else will. That's the truth of this game. It doesn't care who you are. It only cares what you'll sacrifice." He shoved the ball into my chest again. "Stand up." My legs trembled, but I forced myself upright. My arm felt dead, useless. But when I cocked back and threw, the ball spiraled perfectly once more, hitting him in the chest like fate. He smiled faintly, just for a moment. Not pride, not approval, satisfaction, like I'd proven something I didn't understand. "Good," he said. "You're learning." I stumbled, nearly collapsing again, and for the first time he caught me by the arm. His grip was cold, steady, like steel under skin. "This is what preparation feels like," he whispered. "Not love for the game, not joy. Preparation is death in pieces, and if you can't take it, you'll never last." He released me, and I fell to the turf, chest heaving, vision spinning. "Tomorrow," he said, turning away. "Film room. Then he walked into the shadows beyond the lights, leaving me sprawled on the 50-yard line, the taste of iron in my mouth, the weight of his words crushing my chest. For the first time in my life, football didn't feel like my way out. It felt like a cage. The film room was colder than the hallway, the kind of chill that sinks into your bones. Brady was already there when I walked in, sitting alone in the front row with a projector humming quietly behind him. A black case of reels rested at his feet. "Sit," he said, without looking up. I dropped into the chair beside him. My legs felt heavy, my shoulders still sore from the night before. Brady leaned forward, threading the first reel into the projector with precise mechanical movements, like he'd done it 1,000 times. The screen lit up, crackling with grain. It was Brady's rookie season, Patriots versus Raiders. I'd seen this game on YouTube before, but never like this. The footage was raw, unedited, angles I didn't recognize, longer cuts between plays, moments where the camera lingered on his face too long. "Watch," Brady said. I did. He dropped back in the pocket. The camera angle was tight, chest up, showing his eyes darting downfield, but something felt off. The expression was too calm, almost empty. When he threw, the tape seemed to stutter. His arm lagged for a frame, then snapped forward faster than natural. The ball cut perfectly through the air. I blinked. Had the film skipped? Brady's gaze didn't leave the screen. The next play rolled. Another drop back, another perfect release. But the timing didn't look right. His body jerked in strange rhythm, like the motion wasn't entirely his. And when the camera panned wide, the shadows under the stadium lights seemed to stretch just slightly longer than they should have. I shifted in my seat. "Look closer," Brady murmured. The reel switched. Super Bowl against the Rams, 2002. He stood at midfield, helmet gleaming, face streaked with sweat. But in this angle, the sweat reflected dark, almost black, running like ink down his cheek. His eyes, even through the face mask, looked hollow. Laser focused, but too still, too controlled. My throat tightened. "You see it, don't you?" Brady asked softly. I didn't answer. I wasn't sure what I was seeing. The reel continued. The Falcons come back in 2017. Brady in shotgun, directing traffic. The stadium noise bled faintly through the old tape, distorted, like a chant caught between languages. The screen jittered slightly as he threw. For a split second, his body blurred. A double exposure. One Brady releasing the ball, another fraction of a second ahead, already following through. I rubbed my eyes. My pulse thudded in my ears. "You're not crazy," Brady said. He turned his head, finally looking at me. Most people never notice. They watch the highlight, the trophy lift, the celebration. They don't see what it takes. I swallowed hard. "What is it?" His mouth curled, not into a smile, but something sharper. Preparation. Years of it. Obsession. Everyone says film study wins games. They're right, but not the way they think he threaded another reel. No label this time, just black tape. The film sputtered, then steadied. It showed an empty practice field. No crowd, no sound. Just Brady under center, snapping the ball to no one. He dropped back, scanned an invisible field, and threw. The camera stayed wide. No receivers, no defense. Just him, throwing again and again into empty space. At first I thought it was practice footage, but the angles shifted too smoothly, like there were multiple cameras, like someone had studied every inch of his body for hours. And then I saw it. Not a figure, not a monster, just a wrongness in the tape. His release didn't match his body. The arm lagged, then jumped forward too quick. The motion was too clean, too perfect, like the film itself had corrected it. I leaned forward. My stomach knotted. Brady said nothing. He wanted me to see it myself. Play after play rolled. Each throw flawless, each pass spinning like a machine had made it. The longer I watched, the less it looked like football. It looked like ritual. Finally, the reel sputtered to its end. The screen went white. I sat there trembling, sweat running cold down my back. Brady leaned back in his chair, folding his hands. He looked at me for a long time, his eyes steady, unreadable. Most kids your age, they study film to learn plays, to copy technique. But you, he tilted his head, you can see more. I forced myself to speak, my voice raw. See what? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Instead, he stood, gathering the reels and sliding them back into the black case. He latched it shut, the click echoing in the empty room. Tomorrow, he said, his tone final. We take the field. Then he walked out, leaving me alone with the projector's fading hum. I sat frozen in the chair, staring at the blank screen. Every highlight I'd ever studied, every miracle drive I'd admired, all of it felt poison now. Because somewhere deep down, I knew what I'd really been watching all these years. Not greatness, something else. The stadium lights came on by themselves. It was just past midnight when I stepped onto the field, the bleachers empty, the air still. The glow from the lamps painted everything in a harsh white, buzzing faintly, too loud for how quiet the night really was. Brady was already at midfield, standing with a ball in one hand. He didn't wave me over. He didn't need to. For a moment, I thought we were done. But then he placed the ball at the 50 and stood across from me, lining up like he was on defense. His stance was loose, calm, but his eyes never left mine. I frowned, chest heaving. What? You're playing defense now? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he stepped forward, voice low but cutting. Again, what do you see? The words hung heavy in the night air. My legs trembled, my body screaming from exhaustion. My mind raced. I wanted to say I saw the greatest quarterback alive. I wanted to say I saw the man I'd idolized my whole childhood. But that wasn't what he was asking. My thoughts twisted inward. What was greatness? Was it talent? Was it obsession? Was it him? Or was it something else? Something that demanded more than anyone should ever give. Brady tilted his head, waiting. What do you see? I swallowed hard, my pulse hammering. My mom's face flashed in my head, her hands raw from work, telling me football was my way out. My coach's voice, my teammates cheering, the recruiters circling, all of it blurred. I took a deep breath. The truth rose in my chest, bitter but undeniable. Me, I said. The word echoed across the empty field. For the first time all night, Brady smiled, not sharp, not cruel, just satisfied. Excellent, he said. He walked to the 50, picked up the ball, and pulled a pen from his pocket. Calmly, like he'd done it 1,000 times, he signed his name across the laces. Then he handed it back to me, the ink still wet under the glow of the stadium lights. Without another word, he turned and walked toward the tunnel. Practice was over. Something in me was broken. Not my body. My arms still worked, my legs still ran. But the drive that had carried me for years, the hunger that kept me up lifting weights in the garage, that made my mom's sacrifices feel like they meant something, it was gone. Every time I picked up a ball, I felt nothing. The spiral still came out perfect, but it didn't feel like mine anymore. Like it belonged to someone else. By the end of the week, I quit the team. Recruiters stopped calling. My coach tried to talk me out of it. My teammates stared at me like I'd betrayed them, but I couldn't explain what had happened. Not without sounding insane. My mom cried when I told her. She asked why, begged me not to throw it all away. I didn't have the heart to tell her the truth, that Tom Brady had taken it from me, that the game itself had swallowed me whole and spit me out hollow. Months passed. Football slipped from my life piece by piece, like a dream you can't hold on to after waking. Then came the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay against Kansas City. I wasn't planning to watch, but my mom turned it on. She sat on the couch, still proud, still hopeful. Like maybe seeing Brady play would remind me what I'd lost. There he was, under the brightest lights in the world. Older now, but flawless, calm in the pocket. Every throw sharp, effortless, unstoppable. By the end of the night, he was holding the Lombardi Trophy again, smiling that same unreadable smile I'd seen across from me on the 50-yard line. The commentator said the same line over and over. It's his film study. That's the secret. Nobody studies film like Tom Brady. My chest tightened. My hands curled into fists because I knew what that meant. I'd sat in the film room. I'd seen what no one else did. The glitches, the corrections, the way the tape bled into something else. It wasn't just film study. It was something darker. Something that took from players like me so he could keep winning. People say he won because of preparation. Maybe they're right. But it wasn't his preparation. It was mine. And I'll never get it back. I don't play anymore. I don't even think about playing. But if you want to help me figure out where to go from here, if you want to understand what I saw, hit the link in the description or leave a comment. Because once you've seen what I've seen, you'll understand. Greatness isn't given, it's taken.